Most people will see my tears and think that I'm crying because I'm sad. But really, I'm just so grateful. I'm gonna leave that there. I hope you can hear that. She's talking about cheese. That is so perfect.
I've honestly been like low-key afraid to even say this out loud because I'm embarrassed and I'm really afraid of being judged, but I realized that that judgment was coming from myself. I was judging myself. I moved out when I was 19 years old. I've always been kind of like hyper independent. The second I had enough money to get my own place, I was out. I got my own place. I've moved to different states. I've moved to different countries on my own. It's something that I know I can do. I was living in Italy and my business deal fell through there and I no longer had a visa to stay in the country. I had to leave Italy. I didn't know where to go, so I called my mom. I'm like, hey, can I come home for a couple of weeks? I thought I was coming here as like a regrouping kind of thing. I thought like 4 to 6 weeks max. I'm gonna figure out my visa shit. I'm gonna head back to Europe. Like that's what my plan was. But you know, we make plans, God laughs, and it's been 27 months and I've been here for 27 months. On meditating on my perspective shift, I've realized like how many lessons I have learned in those last 2 years and what a great opportunity this has been for me. And today I'm going to share some of the lessons that I have learned from moving home to my parents' house at 34 years old. First and foremost, I want to thank my parents, and I'm going to try not to cry, because I realized like how blessed I am, not only to have parents that welcomed me back, but also parents who want me here. Like I know that not everyone has that. And I know that a lot of people have family that they can go to. It's also shined a big light on how privileged I am, and not just because of my blonde hair and my blue eyes, but because of my family. Also, let's move on to lesson number 2 before I just cry. It's also teaching me how messed up our ideologies are here in the States and in Western civilization. When I was living in Italy, it's very common for there to be multi-generational homes. There'll be grandparents, parents, children, then those children get married, then their children are in their house. There'll be 4 generations, sometimes even 5 generations living in the homes. The homes have been adapted. There's like 4 kitchens in one home. They've been adapted for the family to grow in the house. I know this isn't just Italy's culture. This is many cultures around the world where multi-families are living in a single home. Here in the States, it's like taboo and it's like the worst thing ever. And that's why I was so afraid to put this out there, because I was so afraid of being judged, because how dare I be happy at 36 years old at my parents' house. It's also making me question like why our society wants us to suffer. All of that being said, it's also been a series of humblings. I have been humbled 100 times over. Every time I think I'm done with one of the humblings over the last 2 years, it's like, nope, there's another humbling for me. I was someone who got really used to accomplishments, making money, to vacations and expensive things, food, to men, to these like worldly accomplishments filling that gap and like making me happy. But the thing is, I was never really happy. Every time I got one of those things, it would bring me up for a little while and I'd have like a new trip, or I'd have a new bag, a new car, a new boyfriend, like whatever it was, it would bring me up for a little while, and then you eventually go back down. So then I needed more of this stuff. I need to order more things. I need to get more clothes. I need to go on another vacation. When am I booking my next trip? I was always on a plane. I even like created a business that afforded me the lifestyle of traveling nonstop because I thought that that was going to make me happy, but I wasn't. I wasn't ever actually truly happy. And in the last 2 years, all of those things have been taken away from me. My money is gone. Any man I've tried to interact with blocked from that. I have no accomplishments in business the way that I have in the past. I'm not closing big deals the way that I have in the past. All of those things have forced me to find real happiness, to find happiness in the simple pleasures in life. I've fallen in love with slow living and simple things like picking my own flowers and making my food and having the luxury to be able to sit down and read a novel and just enjoy my life without feeling like I need to produce or I need to accomplish or I need to do, or I need to consume. And in that slowing down and in finding like the little luxuries in life, I've also learned that time is my most valuable asset. I used to put money on a pedestal, and now money is like on the floor, and I have my time is on the pedestal. Money is an unlimited asset, but time is limited. Learning to live with less, the way that I've been literally forced to, has helped me to realize that all of that stuff never felt good. And speaking of time, my time here has been so great for strengthening my familial bonds and my bonds with my family, not just with my parents, but also with my cousins and my aunts. A bunch of my cousins are all having babies. I get to spend so much time. I'm surrounded by so many babies and so much love, and there's so much love in my family, and I was away from it for so long. I missed a lot of the big things, and being able to be home for the last 2 years has been so special, and I'm like, I love my family so much. I shared a vlog, I'm going to link up in the cards, about losing not only my grandma but my dog in the same week. And I'm really grateful that I was home for that. I wasn't home the day my grandfather passed away. I wasn't home when my cousin passed away in 2017, and like I was not here for that. So being home not only for my grandma's passing, but for the lead up to it, and being with my family and being present for that really feels like a proper gift. I'm also really grateful for the time that I'm getting to spend with my dad, and he's now 77, so he's slowing down a little bit. We just sit outside and like we talk. He's telling me stories about his family and growing up as a child and things that I never knew about my family, stories that I would have never heard if I didn't have this time here, and I'm really grateful for that. I am still working on this one, but another lesson that I am learning is being comfortable not having control. I am learning to trust in God's plan and kind of like surrender to divine timing. It is also teaching me about patience. I thought I was going to be here for 6 weeks, but here I am almost 2.5 years later. Now, there's also like a second layer, like a more literal layer of patience. Let's call it patience squared. I lived mostly alone for a long time, so learning to live with others, especially family, it is requiring patience. It's also requiring consideration. We're learning to adjust to different schedules. I want to be in the kitchen. She wants to be in the kitchen. We have to work on that. Sharing spaces with people, and now we're all like adults sharing spaces. Also dealing with like conflict and disagreements. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go deeper into this, because I'd be very interested in deviating onto like the aspect of that, because there's so many lessons about learning to deal with conflict and disagreements, especially with people that you love, but that could be like a whole other video. And there's just like a lot of very real aspects of living at home as an adult that I could dive like way deeper into. There has also been so many lessons in personal growth for me. It has shown me how much I have grown as a person. I'm not going to go too deep into this today, but hit subscribe if you're interested, because I will be talking about my personal growth and my soul growth and like how those two forms of growth differentiate. I know very deep in my heart that Jackie 2 years ago, Jackie 5 years ago, Jackie 10 years ago would not be handling the situations that I'm in right now as well as I am. And for that, I'm really proud. And like, that's another thing. Just being proud of myself is something that I'm learning. Being proud of myself without having those worldly accomplishments. Like, no, I didn't close a 6-figure deal. No, I didn't get one of America's top banks to renew my contract 6 times. No, I didn't get one of my clients up 1700%. Yes, I did, but not recently in 1 year. Finding a sense of pride in who I am and not what I do is one of the most tangible lessons that I'm taking from my time here. And on that note, I'm going to leave it off by circling back to where I started. Being grateful to be here. With that massive perspective shift the other day, I realized that I've been in a cocoon and I've been kind of transforming over the last 2 years. This place, this home, has given me the safe space to do that. There's something so special about meditating in my childhood bedroom, being able to feel safe even in a lot of discomfort, I have grown so much over the last 2 years. And in that growth, it often means that we're outgrowing things, people, places, things, jobs, businesses, habits, friends. I have left so much behind, and I don't know that I would want to be anywhere else while going through this transformation. And being in my childhood bedroom and going to sleep in the same space that I grew up as a child, as I'm now growing up as an adult, is really special. And like I said, like circling back to the beginning, I'm just very grateful. Can I cry anymore? Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. My name is Jackie. I share everything that I've learned in life. I have lived a lot of fucking life in the last 36 years, and I share everything that I've learned along my journey in hopes of inspiring other people to find their own journey, connect deeper to themselves. I make new videos every week, so do not forget to click subscribe, and I will see you next week.